everybody, welcome back to Simple Art for Adults. My name is Erin and today is part 4 of our romantic country color along. The goal is to finish one page in a coloring book every month because I'm a slow colorist and sometimes I can't make videos for a while, so I don't want to like be too I don't want to promise too much if I can't deliver. Before we get started with that though, I've had some people ask me questions about how I store pencils for works in progress. And so I figured that I would show you guys that today. These are basically pastel drawers. So they're meant for pastels to put inside. They're only about an inch thick a piece. And as you can see, the pencils lay in here nicely. So the pastel box, I guess you can call it, that I got has 3 drawers. And they're all this size. My brother gave it to me for Christmas. This particular one was very, very inexpensive. I want to say it was less than $15. It's not the best made one in the world. Now you can see that I've got a couple little places where the wood is a little bit bowed and things like that. So it's not the best made pastel drawers in the world, but it does serve its purpose. So because there are 3 drawers, bear with me just one moment. Alright guys, I'm sorry about that. I've got my bedroom window open today. It's in the 60s and it was getting very, very loud, so I wanted to take care of that. It's still open and I'll close it the rest of the way if it gets too noisy, but anyway, to get back to what we were talking about. There are 3 of these drawers in the box, so what I do is I typically have no more than 3 works in progress going on at one time. So each one of these has the foam padding in the bottom and it has the dividers in it. So I just put all my pencils for each work in progress in these drawers. So each drawer represents a different page and each little section here represents a different part of that page for the most part. So the one that I have for the current work is this one. So let me put this back. If I can get it to go back in there correctly. Oh, nope, that's the wrong slot for that drawer. So the one that I'm using currently is this one, and it doesn't have a whole lot of pencils in it because I finished using some of the other pencils. But yeah, so just so you guys can see what I use, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below if you are interested in perhaps getting one of your own. I am an Amazon affiliate, guys. So if you use my links, do bear in mind that I get a small commission for everything that you purchase using those links. I also apparently broke my pencil trying to get that drawer out, so let me fix that. What we're going to be doing today in our page is the rest of the wood. So, well, after I get my pencil sharpened. So again, we're going to be using the same colors that we did in the last video, if you guys have been following along. We are going to be using, from light to dark, we're going to be using sand, which is PC 940. Light umber, which is PC 941, sienna brown, which is PC 945, and dark brown, which is PC 946. And so today what I would like to do would be to color the oars that are over here against the wall. I've got dog hair on my page. I have dog hair everywhere. It's a constant battle. And I'm going to color the clock up here at the top. That's going to be done in wood. And then I'm also going to finish coloring the desk. So what I will do is work from left to right, and I'm just going to use another one of my cutting mats to protect my page from my hands today. My tracing paper, when I cleaned up my room, I put my tracing paper away somewhere and I don't remember where. So I have to dig that back out. So I'm starting with sand and I'm just putting a light layer on the outside of this. All except for these little spots here. Now, this, I'm assuming, is supposed to be reminiscent of the ship's wheel. So, much like the portholes, thank you everyone for helping me with that. Much like the portholes, we're going to do these a little darker. So I'm going to put the light umber on these parts. And then I'm going to come back in with light umber. And I'm going to leave everything. I'm just going to kind of lighten it up as I come forward. I'm going to leave just the tiniest little rim of the sand color as a highlight. Just a smidge. Let me zoom you guys in a little further so you can see a little better what I'm doing. Alright, and there is going to be a little bit of glare from my lamp because it does just so happen to be where I've already colored. I'll try to keep that out of the way as much as I can. It's just shiny from the wax and the pencils. Alright, so light umber almost all the way up to the very top. And I'm going to come back in right here with it. And all of this is going to be a little bit darker. So I'm not leaving that line on the inside part. Okay, so now with our next color is going to be sienna brown. Same thing, I'm just going to start at the edge at the back and pull it out about halfway. The idea here is to layer the colors so that it looks kind of like natural wood. I'm going to get right back here in this corner, just like that. And in this case, I'm not going all the way down with this color, only to about right there. I'm going to do the same thing down here. And again, guys, these are light layers because the goal here is to mix these colors up. So how's everybody doing today? Hope you're all having a great day. Dark brown, PC 946. Let me move it so you can see it in the light. In southern Indiana today, it is very windy. It is about 65 degrees, and they are calling for thunderstorms today. However, tonight, everything is supposed to switch over into freezing rain and then snow. So we're looking at anywhere from ½ an inch to ¼ of an inch of ice, and then anywhere from a couple inches of snow to as much as 4 inches of snow. So I took part of the day today to just go get stocked up on the absolute necessities, things I had to have, just in case. I'm really hoping we don't get the ice. I don't mind the snow as much, but the ice makes traveling like treacherous. Snow's bad enough, but the ice makes it bad. Okay, so now I'm coming back in with light umber. I'm just going to go over everything and pull it out a little bit further, almost to the end there. I'm just going to keep using light layers until I'm happy with the color saturation that I've got. Basically until I think it's dark enough. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to go ahead and go over everything. Try to make it look smooth and seamless. So the nice weather is why I have the window open today. Just because it's so very nice outside. It's gloomy. It's really, really gloomy. But I'll take the fresh air while I can get it regardless. And now I'm just going back over the main area of the clock with the sand. And I'm also going to use the sand on the inside face of the clock. So just a really light layer. Don't want it to be really super dark. And then I'm going to take my light umber and just around here, because our light source, we've been discussing how our light source since we started coloring, and it's all over on the other side of the room. And this clock is kind of recessed into this little lip. So we're going to need to color this with a little bit of a shadow. So very light, almost as light as the pencil can touch the paper. I'm just adding a little bit of a shadow just on that side. And then I'm going to go back in one more time with sand, and I'm going to finish it off. There we go. And that's really all I want to do for that clock face. I don't want it to be too bold and bright and take anything over. I just want it to be the same, just to kind of go with the wood, basically. The last thing we have to do here is I'm going to take my dark brown, and I'm just going to add a little bit on the areas of the little handles that are closest to the clock itself. And this is going to make them look more like rounded off pegs. I may actually add a little bit more back this way to make this look rounder also. And then with the light umber one more time, I'm just going to come back in and blend that dark brown out. Make sure I've got this all nice and even. And that finishes off our clock. So that was pretty simple. I'm sorry for the glare, guys. It's just the way the lighting is today. If I had more sunlight coming in the window, it wouldn't look like that. I need a drink of Sprite. All right, so now we're going to come down and do the oars. And again, we're going to do these pretty well like we've done everything else so far. I'm going to start out with a light layer of sand, which is going to be a little bit tricky to get it back in that crease. So just a very light layer. And I guess I figured that we should just go ahead and have all the wood elements in the room kind of match together, because if it was a real estate room on like a cruise ship or something, then everything would match. Okay, so now I'm going to take light umber. I'm going over pretty much the whole thing, just lightly. And we're just going to mix colors together for these, except for dark brown. Now dark brown I'm going to try to keep more like back here on this part of the oar. Do you see where the little marks are? That's where I'm going to try to keep it just a little bit darker and fade it into everything else. But for the most part, I'm using just really light pressure, almost as light as I can possibly get it. And you may see my pencil strokes a little. Let me try to move this and see if it helps anything. But because we're going to be using several layers, it doesn't matter in the first couple layers whether you see those pencil strokes or not. It really doesn't. I'm just trying to get the color down. Okay, so next we have, if I can find it, there it is, it rolled under my book. Sienna brown. This is going to give us that rich red brown color and really just add to the way it looks. Again, just a light layer over top of everything. Little difficult getting it down there in that crease. It may help if I move my little mat. And I'm watching and I realize that this is hard for you guys to see. But just realize that I'm going over the whole oar with the same pressure right now. Just very light pressure. So we've got the sand, the light umber, and now the sienna brown all mixed together in that oar. So last I'm coming in with dark brown. And I'm just adding it along the bottom. And you guys should be able to see this a little bit more clearly. So this is just going to be along the bottom. So darker down here along this edge, and then as I bring it up, it's going to get really light because the goal is to fade it out into the rest. Same here, we're going to put that little line right there, and then just very, very carefully blend it up. And the same thing here. Let's put the dark brown there and then pull it up. And we're going to do the very same for this oar. Hopefully you guys can see pretty clearly where I'm going with the dark brown. All right. So now I'm going to come back in with light umber I'm going over everything, again with light pressure. I'm starting to use the circular motions now so that my pencil lines are not visible. Again for this one. It's one of those days today outside where it's like everything is wet, like it's been raining for 3 days, but I don't remember it raining at all. Like, I don't think it's rained at all since I've been awake, and I got up at, I don't know, 5:30 this morning, and it hasn't rained yet. So, I don't know where all the wet yuckiness is coming from today, but it's gross. I'm ready for summer, guys. I'm just ready for winter to be over and for it to be summer again. Okay. So now I'm going to come back in one more time with Sienna Brown. Ooh, that was a FedEx driver. He's flying today. And I'm coming back in with Sienna Brown this one more time because I want it to look a little different from the wall. And I felt like without it, it was too close in color. And the Sienna Brown's bringing like a rich red color, almost like a reddish brown. So that kind of helps to distinguish the wood from the wall a little more. I'm still just using very light layers. With the Prismacolors, had I been using anything but very light pressure, I wouldn't be getting any more layers on this page, so. All right. Now then, we're coming into the finish line. This is kind of how I build my colors when I'm coloring. I just keep putting layers down until I'm happy with the way that it looks. If these are things that you've colored before, then you may be fairly confident in how to get the look that you want. I don't color a lot of wood, so it's kind of new to me, which is why I really take my time and just slowly build the colors up. And once I get to a place where I'm happy with it, then I can just stop. There we go. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So I'm happy with this. I do want one more medium pressure layer of light umber, and then I'm going to put another layer of sand over top, and then we're done with this. So I'm going to use a little heavier pressure now with the light umber. Just a medium pressure, still not very heavy at all. Circular motion, small little ovals. All right, and then now I'm going to come back in with sand and go over everything, and that's going to give us our nice warm yellow look. It's really going to warm the wood up. And I am very happy with that. It's the same colors as all the other wood in the room, but just slightly different. Just different enough to stand out a little bit from the wall. Now, for the little hooks that are holding it to the wall, I'm going to do the same thing I've been doing with everything else. I'm going to start with a light layer of light umber. So we're just going to skip the sienna brown and sand. And then on the far side, away from the windows, I'm going to add some of the dark brown. And then one more time with the umber, with a medium pressure now, just to kind of finish it off. And I'm happy with that too. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so just a quick zoom out so you can see what this wall looks like. I can get the glare to go away. So we have our oars done, we have our clock done. So now what we're going to do is the desk. And this desk I'm going to do in all the same colors, just to kind of keep a consistent theme happening. And I'll move my book around here so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So once again, I'm going to start out with a light layer of sand, and we're going to do the whole entire face of the desk in the sand. I think though that this top little lip up here, I want it to be darker. These little buttons, I want those to also be darker, but I'm going to go ahead and go over them with the sand anyway. If it's too close, you guys aren't going to be able to see. There we go. So again, I'm not trying to be incredibly neat with this. This is just the first layer and it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to stay within the lines and get that base layer down. Let me see. This part, I also want to be darker. The legs and the little shelves between the drawers, I want those to be darker. So I'm going to just skip the sand for that. I may add some at the very end, but I'm not adding it now. Again, if you're doing this, you're following along. Yes, I'm going fairly quickly. That's because it doesn't matter. If my pencil lines show, it's no big deal. They won't show at the end. And so now this little part here in the center. And then these drawers. I'll pull my book over here for you just a little so you can see it. All right, so then in between the handles of the bag. All right, I think I'm happy with that. Now for the lightest layer on the rest of the desk, I'm using light umber. Now this is in our glow, so we don't want to go too heavy. And in those areas right here, we may actually still come back over the top with the sand since it's yellowy, and it'll kind of help us maintain our little glow from our lantern. So today's goal then again is to finish up all the wood parts. Once we've finished that, I think we should be able to finish the rest of the picture in about another 3 videos. It may take us a full video to do the scenery outside the portholes. And then I may take another video to do all of the accessories, so like the ink well, the lantern itself, the papers on the desk, and that kind of thing. I may take another video to do all that. Oh, and the book over here, and the life preserver. And then it may take another video after that to finish all the upholstery in the room. So the curtains, the pillows, and the chair, or the pillows and blankets in the chair. Still haven't decided on a color for that yet. I'm not certain. It seems that a lot of people are really liking green. So I'm thinking that we're going to do the upholstery and the curtains and things in green. But we'll have to be careful because the curtains do have the flowers and leaves on them. So we have to make sure that we choose greens that work together, but that at the same time are distinct enough to be able to tell the leaves from the material of the curtains themselves. And again, like the sand, don't worry if you can see pencil strokes. At this point of it, it doesn't really make a difference. This is just one very super light layer of the light umber. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now let's go ahead before we do anything else and finish up the dark parts. So I'm going to take my dark brown and I'm just going to fill in these little button area things, whatever they are, because I know I want those to be very dark. So we'll go ahead and fill those in. Then I'm going to take sienna brown and I'm just going to go over everywhere that had the light umber. I'm using the small ovals. Now these little feet down here, my hair's falling out. My kids do it to me. These little feet down here, I'm not going to put the sienna on because I just want those to be the umber and the dark brown. Okay, so we did that one. Let's do this one. Again, still just light layers, guys. I need to build these colors up for these two sections separately so I know what's what. I want them to be distinct sections, but I also want them to match, so. My neighbors are leaving, so I apologize if you hear some noise. Okay, now this little rail up here, but very light here. It's very, very light. Alright guys, I'm going to close up the bedroom window and I will be back with you in just a moment. Okay guys, sorry about that. Why is it every time I open my window and try to do something, everybody in the neighborhood has to be incredibly loud? I don't know, but it's a good question. I should find out. So now I'm going in with dark brown, now that I have my sienna brown all over. I'm taking my dark brown, and the first thing I want to do is just kind of line the outside edges of these pieces of wood. So just these. Let me move my book a little. So I'm going to do the outside edge of this one. Now I'm going to put dark brown in a light layer all over the back leg just to kind of make it, that way it'll kind of recede back there because it's going to be in more shadow. So I'm going to do both back legs, good grief, both back legs with the dark brown, just a light layer. And then I'm going to use the dark brown on this edge of this piece of wood. Just like that. And then I'm going to use it to bring almost out to the edge of the foot. So medium pressure and then light, 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 lightest. Just like that. Medium pressure, light, 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 lightest. And I'm going to do the whole thing in medium pressure back here. Just kind of fill it in with all one color. Just like that. Okay, so now for these little sections, I want to do the bottom in dark brown. So basically we're going to do this side and then we're going to go over to the other side and repeat the process. We're going to have all these same colors also in the drawers in the top of the desk, but I want to make sure that this is darker, I guess is the goal. So just like that, and then we're going to do the furthest. So I'm not sure why there are children outside riding their bikes up and down the street and yelling, because they should be in school, I would think. I guess they could be homeschooled children, but there are children outside. I've thought about homeschooling my kids a couple times, but I don't think I would have the patience to teach like the standard, you know, elementary school, middle school, high school curriculum. I don't think I could do it. And the fact that there are 3 kids and like they're all in different grades and all at different levels, and they all learn differently too. I think it would just be an incredibly hard undertaking. So if you are a parent who homeschools your children and you have more than one child in more than one grade, kudos from me to you. I'm still just using dark brown, guys. Kind of trying to add some depth and until I'm happy with it, until it looks the way I want it to look. And I'm going to do the same up here, but I'm going to do it along the very top rail. And I'm going to use a medium pressure and then just kind of leave the bottom, the dark umber, kind of like for a highlight. Very, very light here though. Again, I'm going to go back over this area with the sand, just to kind of indicate that it's got that glow on it. There we go. I am happy with that. I think that looks pretty nice. I think I need some more dark brown this way though, so I'll go ahead and add that in. I want to pull this dark brown out just a little bit more, not too far, just a little bit. Same here. And then basically what I'm doing is just trying to pull the dark brown that I put down here at the bottom up. That's all. Alright, so now I'm going to take my umber. I'm going to use a medium pressure and go back over all these areas. Again, this is light umber with a medium pressure. Just going back over everything. All the rungs and rails and okay. So far, so good. And I do believe I'm just going to leave the sand out. I don't think I'm even going to put the sand color in these parts, because I think that's going to help make them look a little more distinct. What we'll see at the end, very light in this area. Sand is definitely going over that part. But I don't think I'm going to put it like right here. So let's go ahead and take sand and burnish this part in. So nice heavy pressure over top of all those colors. I'm pleased with that. I think that looks nice. So now we're just going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the desk. the rest of the wood. I'm sharpening my light umber pencil. And like I did for the oars, I'm just going to kind of use a really light layer and go over everything. Over all of the sand color. And I'm using the side of the pencil. I'm using small circular motions. And I'm holding my pencil way back here so that I'm not tempted to put too much pressure. So yeah, I think 3 more videos we should be able to finish this up. Which means I'm going to have to do more than one a week. And I do realize that I'm pretty slow with my color alongs, and that's because I color slowly first and foremost. And you know, I have a full-time job too, so there are some times that I don't have like a whole lot of work to do. So I have more time that I can make videos and, you know, spend in a Facebook group and things. But then there are some weeks that I have a lot of work that I have to do. So I have less time for making videos and less time for spending in the Facebook group. So it really depends on my workload. And I realize that compared to a lot of people, a whole month to color a page and a color along is a little excessive for some of you. And that's, you know, the way I see it, guys, is I don't want to promise you something I can't deliver on. I don't want to say I'm going to color a whole page in a week and then not be able to do it. And the way I see it, too, is if you prefer to sit down and do the whole color along in, you know, 2 or 3 days, you can just wait until I'm finished with it, until all the videos are up, and then just kind of binge them however you prefer to do it. Just watch them all in a row. You might get awful tired of hearing me talk, but you can always just kind of mute me and follow along. Okay, so now we're coming back up here. Yep, okay, good. Just checking to make sure that I got that bottom section over on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and color down here. I got that over there too. I'll move my little sheet. So for those of you who have been subscribed for some time, you will know that we are doing a giveaway for January. It's our storytelling and color giveaway. If you are in the Facebook group, or even if you're not in the Facebook group and you want to join the contest, please email me with your submission so that I can share it in the album, because it's going to be out of that album in the Facebook group that I take all of the names of the people who are entering the contest. So if you're not on the Facebook group, and you don't want to be, but you do want to join the contest, what I can do is I can publish your picture and your story on your behalf, and I can use a pseudonym or whatever. Your real name can be just between me and you. It's up to you. 1 entry per person, though. And actually, I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to go with Sienna Brown. So 1 entry per person. And that's going to come to a close on February the 1st, so you have up until the 31st of January to get your entries in. Basically, all you have to do is color any picture you want with anything you want and kind of tell us a story about that picture. You can tell us a funny story, a scary story, a heartwarming story, a true story, a fictitious story. You can do a retelling of an existing story that you think fits the picture. So if you want to like retell the story of Goldilocks to fit your picture, go right ahead. The winner is going to be chosen at random. There will be 3 winners. And the first winner, the first name pulled, will win a $50 Amazon gift card. And the other two people will win $25 Amazon gift cards. So I'm really excited for that. And guys, again, this is Sienna Brown. I'm just using a light layer over everything. I'm going to go a little bit heavier over here because it's darker. And then we are almost to 5,000 YouTube subscribers. 5,000 subscribers. I have no idea how that happened. It seems like yesterday I was announcing 2,000. And now here we are at almost 5,000, which is just insanity. So for that, because we already have such a huge giveaway going on this month, what we're going to do is, it's looking like we might hit the 5,000 mark this month. And when we do, we're going to do a $20, basically a $20 spending limit at Book Depository. So this way it can be international. No matter where you live, Book Depository will ship to you for free. So what we'll do is, I'll make a video when we hit 5,000 subscribers and we'll explain it in more detail. But we're just going to have you comment on the video if you want to win, and then a few days later we'll pick the winner, and that person will get $20 to spend on Book Depository. Just basically tell us what $20 worth of merchandise you want, and we will have it sent out to you. And I think that's a great way to do it because they will ship to you for free. It allows us to give things to people in other countries. And for $20 at Book Depository, depending on what's going on, you can get quite a bit. Sometimes you get $2. So again, with light umber, one more time over everything. And this is just a super quick layer. And then once I get this done, this is the last layer for the darker browns. And then I'm going to come back and go with a medium heavy layer of sand. And for this, it doesn't matter how you color. You can use the small circles if you want. Personally, I'm using an up and down motion to kind of simulate the effect of wood grain. You can do it however you want. You can go side to side, you can go diagonally, go horizontally. I'm just going vertical. Alright, so now just the top of the desk. And this is still a light layer, but a little bit heavier. So I'm doing more than just barely touching the paper, but it is still pretty light. I just want to be very careful because I still want to get quite a bit more of the sand color in, and I want to make sure that I save myself some tooth of the paper to put that sand color into. If I fill it up too much, I won't get any in there. We don't want that to happen. Alright, so that is all for the light umber. And now one more time with sand, and I am going to go ahead and sharpen it up. And then I'm going to start down at the bottom, and I'm just going to use the same up and down motion. And this is going to add some yellowy warmth and richness to the wood. And I am using like a medium pressure here, so not really heavy, but just enough to where I can get the color down in the tooth and it really shows. So it's a nice translucent effect. All the other colors are shining up from below it. So can you tell the difference between this side and this side? So basically you just want to use the pressure that's going to allow you to get the sand down over the top of the colors. I'm trying to avoid the darker spots because I don't want to put the sand on those. We're trying to keep it distinguished between each other. Okay, so let's do this side. We'll start with the bottom. Now the heavier the pressure you use, the more you're going to blend your colors together. So that's something else to keep in mind. If you want your colors to look more blendy and not distinct like wood grain, you can certainly do that. Not sure what's happened right there. It looks like an eraser mark or something. I'm not too concerned about it. It's definitely a place where the paper was damaged or something though. Looks like the same, maybe just a little bit right there. I may have erased over that spot and damaged the paper. Alright, now the only other thing that I really want to do is because we have our lantern right here, what I want to do is put a little bit of a shadow back here. So I am going to take my dark brown, I'm going to kind of lay it on its side. I'm going to create a bit of a shadow for the lantern. Just like that. Oh my goodness, that turned out a whole lot better than what I even saw it in my head. So let me zoom this out for you guys so you all can see how it looks. We have officially finished up the wood except for the little tree trunk over there, but we'll get to that when we do all of the other things we're going to do. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the scenery back here in the portholes in the next video. And then we're going to do all the accessories in another one. So we'll do all of these. And then we'll do the lantern, the paper on the desk, and the life preserver and the book. So that'll all be in another video. So that's 2. And then in the third video, we're going to go ahead and do the curtains, all the curtains, the upholstery on the chair, and the upholstery on the bed. And that will finish out our picture. So I do think 3 more videos. I hope you guys have enjoyed this color along so far. Like I've said a couple times now, I know that I don't do them as quickly as other people. But, you know, I figure at this pace, for those of you who are kind of still learning to work with your pencils and learning to mix colors, you can kind of learn more about how I do it and my thought processes when I'm coloring. So I hope you've learned something about that today. So if you like this color along and you want to see other ones like it, please subscribe to my channel. And once you have, hit that little notification bell. And then this way you'll know when there's a new video up. And you're definitely going to want to do that now if you haven't already, because that 5,000 subscriber giveaway is coming up. So remember, that's $20 at Book Depository to anybody in the world, no matter where you live. So go ahead and subscribe so you will know when that comes out. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up because that really helps a whole great big lot. It really, really helps other people find the channel. And that's really all I have for you today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come check out the color along. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.